Welcome to TYT Sports. Ben Mankiewicz, that's Jason Rubin. Turks and Jerks this week. We're putting it all together in one segment. Only two of us here. It's the holiday edition of Turks and Jerks. Well, Jay, let's start with the Turks. Who do you have?
So I took the rookies from almost every round of the 2015 NFL Draft. Amari Cooper became the first Raiders wide receiver with 1,000 yards receiving in a season since 2005. Randy Moss was the man to do that last.
Well, if you could have given me many guesses, and I would not.
You would not have gone with Randy Moss. It's been a while since they've had a dominant receiver.
I literally don't know who I would have guessed. You know,
Ted Ginn Jr.
In Oakland?
Yes.
He played in Oakland?
No, that's the point.
Oh, right. Right.
Throwing out. I'm trying to even think, even tight ends in that equation. But his first 1,000-yard, his first of probably many 1,000-yard receiving seasons. He's a dominant receiver. He also plays like that possession wide receiver game that Antonio Brown does. That is where the NFL is moving.
Antonio Brown, let's just pause for a minute. Antonio Brown has 116 receptions. I think Roethlisberger has missed the bulk of 4 games. And Antonio Brown essentially, I mean, I get a couple of those games he got 5 receptions. A couple of games he got less than that. I mean, if Roethlisberger played the whole season, this guy would have 25 more catches right now, easily.
I thought you were going to say originally that Antonio Brown has missed 4 total catches.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be like at 100. He'd be closing in on 100. He could get to 160, 150 catches.
Second-round pick, Devin Funchess. Granted, he's missed a lot of targets this year. He did have a touchdown versus the Giants, so he gets a mention. David Johnson was a third-round pick. He did all right last night, 187 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs was a 5th-round pick. He obviously had a beautiful over-the-shoulder catch for the Minnesota Vikings.
Let me throw another fantasy thing. Why it's such a tragedy I didn't make the playoffs in my other league.
Because you didn't start Stephon Diggs?
No, because I have David Johnson. I drafted him. I've had him all year. I'm playing him now, of course. And I have Antonio Brown and Bryant. I mean, that team was just, I knew it. It was so primed to crush in the playoffs. I scored like 188 points, but I'm in the I'm in the loser's bracket.
Sorry, Ben. I feel for you in your fantasy team, man. And then 6th-round pick is Ja'Cory Shepard, who is a cornerback for the Philadelphia Eagles. He did tear his ACL in preseason, but he is the only person I met that shares a name with our director, Ja'Cory Palmer.
Would you rather hear about somebody's dreams, or would you rather hear about their fantasy team's misfortunes?
I think they're both really hard to explain and actually make like a compelling story out of them, because when you think you're explaining a dream.
No, they're both horrible. Like literally, when somebody explains a dream to me, I want to be anywhere else. I'm thinking, like I think of the things I would rather be doing, and many of them are like working in a Pennsylvania coal mine in 1909.
Is this a really bad way of you trying to explain what dream you had last night?
No, I never tell.
This medium?
I never tell it. Nobody wants to dream. I mean, like here's what you'd go like, hey, I had a sex dream about you. Like that's about as interesting as you can make it. That's it. My Turk of the Week is, and we get some. I got a couple of texts or tweets about this. Like it's enough. It's finally time. First player in NFL history to throw for 300 yards, throw for 5 touchdowns, and run for 100 yards in a game. First player ever in the history of the NFL.
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton. Your 2000.
Michael Vick never did that. He would have been close. He's done 250, 103. He hasn't done 5 touchdowns though.
Yeah. So anyway, but he's he should be the MVP. I don't really actually we keep talking about him as a contender. I don't know quite what the competition is at this point.
If Russell Wilson keeps throwing ridiculous amount of touchdowns,
no,
and Tom Brady,
you can't pick another quarterback over Cam Newton. I don't think
Tom Brady. You can pick Tom Brady.
I don't think so. Not now. Because also there's a surprise factor in the MVP. It's why Michael Jordan didn't win the MVP every year. Like Michael Jordan should have been the MVP.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Every year he played, and so you could argue Tom Brady probably should be, right?
There's this like illogical, mundane, psychological flaw, which is called voter fatigue.
That's right.
It's ridiculous.
And so Cam Newton will make people feel good. He should anyway. I mean, look, they're 14-0 for crying out loud. And so I mean, again, those numbers are meaningful. They aren't like. You're not twisting those numbers. Like, hey, look, the Patriots are 6-1 at night at home against a team that started the year with 3 straight losses. Like, those are made up numbers. 300 yards, 5 touchdowns, 100 yards rushing for a quarterback, first time in NFL history. That's a thing. That's impressive. And he's had an unbelievable year, and that was an unbelievable game. And my jerk, not surprisingly, comes from that same game. And it's a player I love. We all love Odell Beckham Jr., but it's not so much that he got shut down. You could argue that Josh Norman deserves to be a jerk too, although Beckham was clearly
Please describe to me what shut down means, Ben.
What are you talking about?
He didn't get shut down. He got not even close to shut down.
He had 0 catches at the point the game was 35-7.
Okay.
That's shut down.
Okay. No. Wrong. That is not shut down. We're going to talk about Odell Beckham in a totally another clip. At least what he did. He did not get shut down. He burned Josh Norman for 52 yards. Yes, he dropped the catch. We get that. But that was in before all the antics started.
I got it.
Hold on. And including he got burned on the game-tying touchdown. That's not shut down.
Yeah,
he had 7 receptions for 80-something yards.
The game was decided and over.
The game was over when it was 38-35. Different clip. Different
35.
Different clip.
I got it. But he's my judge. We're going to get into all that, so there'll be some repetition. But the fact of the matter is, look, this guy's been the best corner in the league. So, yeah, you want to pick a different phrase because you think that's clever? Go ahead. But he's the best corner in the league this year. He's stopped elite receiver after elite receiver. And the fact of the matter is, Beckham, this is why he's the jerk of the week. I don't care that he got dominated by a great cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
That happens to great receivers. And I don't even care about the penalties so much, but he took himself out of the game. He significantly made himself a less relevant factor in that game.
Yeah.
And what gets me is why why nobody else was talking to him significant. Maybe they did at halftime, but somebody should have been yelling at him like, hey, I got it. You're mad.
Mm-hmm.
Hit him on the head. Let's go. Let's get back in this game. So anyway, he's an easy call for jerk because I think that if he there's a good chance that if he keeps his head together, they wouldn't have needed that miraculous comeback because we saw in the last 15 minutes of that game, 16 minutes of the game, what he's capable of.
It's the consistent theme that the Giants play with any sense of urgency. They are one of the better offensive teams in the entire NFL, and that's why it's part of them being the jerk of the week for myself is the Giants in general. And we're doing Odell separately, but Coughlin punting on 4th and 1 on the 41-yard line. It's such a Coughlin move, and you look at this team.
You punted to the 11. Great. Great. You got 30 yards. That was a 30-yard decision to give up the football. Would you throw an interception that moved them down 30 yards? No, of course not. You wouldn't want to do that. Why are you punting? Go for it. When you have Eli Manning, when you have Shane Vereen, when you have Odell Beckham Jr., when you have a competent pass-catching tight end in Will Tye, when you have Reuben Randall.
Hakeem Nicks is back.
Right, when you have Hakeem Nicks. Hakeem Nicks does not seem like he's making much of an effort.
No, but he's back.
Don't fall down on that interception. Don't fall down. Don't fall down.
Right.
Don't fall down.
I should make Hakeem Nicks the jerk too.
But that said, unbelievably, somehow that interception didn't matter. That was what was amazing because the game seemed so over there. So anyway, you don't punt. You don't punt. Your mindset has to be, I'm keeping the ball. Oh, in this situation, you're telling me to punt? Okay, I'll punt. It will reduce punts by half.
Yeah.
All right, that's Turks and Jerks for the week. Sorry, I offended you by calling Josh Norman a shutdown corner.
It's offensive. It's fucking offensive.